When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Yo, welcome back. Thank you for checking out the show. Of course, I am your host, 12 Kyle. If you didn't know that, now you know. Thanks for checking out the show. Wasn't really sure what I was going to talk about today. And then I went through some old emails from the 12 radio show and found some questions that never really got out there or released during a particular show. And I came up on one and I said, you know what, that's not something bad to talk about. Space. Now, I'm not talking about the great beyond. I'm not talking about the space shuttle. I'm talking about space. There are certain phrases that kind of rock you to the core when you talk about them in the crux of a relationship. One phrase, we need to talk. When your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife hits you with the we need to talk, you know something serious is behind that. Of course, there are others like, where do you see this going? And that kind of makes your ears bleed, really. But the biggest one that kind of foreshadows everything in life and everything that has to deal with your relationship is when you hear the phrase, I need some space. Now, there's several ways you can take that. Because most people hear the phrase, I need some space, and they think, you know, I'm about to dump you, but I just don't have the guts and I'm working up to it to dump your ass. Space, quite contrary, is very necessary. I think there are times in every relationship and every friendship, actually, where space is needed. Now, before I go on to this part, let me just go back for a second. I too have hit, a young lady or two with the line, I think we need some space. And, quite frankly, we probably did. I think if you're honest with yourself, I think you'll see that, space at that particular time in that particular relationship may have been necessary. Now, there's a lot of times you ever hit somebody with the, I think we need some space, but you still really want to kind of kick it with them, but you want to see other people. I think we've all done that before. I think. I'm not sure, but I think we have. You have. And that's problematic in and of itself, because what happens is that you are semi-committed to something, and maybe someone is totally committed to you, but you're not really fully committed to them. And that's a problem, because feelings and everything else gets involved. But I think you have to be, more than anything else, honest with yourself, because if you can't be honest with yourself, obviously you won't ever be honest with anybody else. But yeah, I'll full disclosure, I have had those times, those moments in life where I've said, you know what, I think we need some space. And, to their credit, they granted me the space, and I was kind of able to maneuver and move on and so forth and so on. But I think the one thing you can't do is you can't play with somebody's heart. I think you have to be honest with them. Because nobody wants their heart played with. Nobody wants their emotions played with. So I think we've all been down that road before. We've either said it or it's been said to us. Correct? I thought so. Nevertheless, and I'm just thinking about like old, high school relationships and stuff. We need space. Yeah. Hey, man, let me tell you something. I remember one time this girl hit me with the "we need space." And I was like, my natural response was like, what do you mean? Like, where are we going with this? What are you talking about? Because I couldn't really fathom, because to me, it sounded as if like she was about to dump your boy. And at that particular time in my life, I kind of prided myself on the fact that nobody was going to dump me, right? That wasn't going to happen. You weren't going to dump old 12. Suffice to say, she did. But it was necessary, because if I'm honest with myself, the relationship really wasn't where it should have been at that particular time. But we all go through that, not just high school and college, and even as young adults and older adults now. And then obviously when relationships, and it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway, when relationships become physical and you have sex, and, it's things definitely change. Some for the good, some for the bad, but things will definitely change. But point of this show is to tell you that space sometimes is very necessary. And I think it's a popular misconception that's one of the most popular misconceptions about relationships, is that you don't need space. You actually do. Especially if you consider the fact that you and your mate in particular spend a lot of time together. If you do a lot of things together, you need your space. I think in any relationship, any friendship, I think space is necessary because it helps people grow. Now, you can't have too much space where people will grow apart. But as a relationship and a friendship is developing between two people, it needs to be cultivated. Obviously, one of the things that cultivates a relationship and friendship is time. The time that you spend together, of course. Yeah, if you're kicking it, that's going to make everything better. Kicking it, having a good time. But also the space that allows you to be yourself and be individualistic. Because you have to be individualistic even within the concept of a relationship. So, translation, even in a group, you got to be a solo artist, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think that's a huge misconception. I think we all need space at some point in time. And if you don't give yourself space, things will become very problematic. Like, I have this friend, right? He, I don't think he ever gave himself, or he nor his wife ever gave themselves space in a relationship. Well, it got to a point where, and it wasn't even about a trust thing. At least it didn't appear that way to me from the outside looking in. But it got to a point where, like, there was so little space in between them to where, like, they were literally always together. I mean, like, I don't know about y'all, but I don't think anybody should be together always, all the time. No. And this is coming from someone who's been married for 15 years, someone who's been in, with this person and knowing this person, my wife, for almost 20 years. So no, I mean, I don't want you in my face. Don't get it twisted. I mean, we have a good time together, but no, we don't need to be in each other's face all the time. You have to have your own personal space to do some of the things that you need to do individually, even as you work collectively. And I think ultimately that space helps define who you are. It helps define your relationship, and it also helps cultivate, where you're trying to go. If you're trying to go somewhere. Now, if you're not trying to go anywhere, then hey, space could mean, getting a couple other chicks on the side and, getting a couple of dudes on the side and having a good time. It could be all of that. But I think people have to be realistic and honest with themselves about what it is they want and with whom they want it with. So that being said, I don't think that space is a bad thing. You have to manage it, though. And I think that's where it becomes very problematic for some people because they cannot manage the space in between them and their mate. But as I was saying, like my friend here, they didn't have a lot of space between he and his wife. So ultimately what ended up happening was they spent an inordinate amount of time together to the point where, and like I said, it wasn't about trust, but something simple as, I don't know, let's say he wanted to go to the mall. He was going to the mall to cop a shirt. He got to the point where he would not go to the mall without his lady. I'm like, dude, you just go to the mall. I mean, it's no big deal. You're going to be going half hour, 45 minutes, an hour at the most. Go to the mall, come back. I mean, sometimes you need that time to just kick it. You need that time to just bond. You need that time to just do whatever. And he had a problem with that. I mean, a serious problem. And her problem was even bigger because if he went to the mall and did not, quote unquote, ask her, could he go to the mall by himself? Oh, there was a problem. Now let me back that up a little bit. He had to, quote unquote, ask her, honey, is it okay if I go to the mall by myself? Whoa, no. That should never happen. To the outside world, it sounds like a man who is henpecked. To the inside world, it sounds like a man who is crazy. Here's the thing. That is a systematic problem of years and years of just being in each other's face, being in each other's space. You need that time. I'm a firm believer that every, especially this time of year, you guys that know me know that this is football season. Every guy out there listening to me under the sound of my voice, you need that time where you go just catch a game with your boys, man, and grab some wings, drink some beer, whatever, just for a couple of hours, man. And what that is, that's just an outlet. It's just a release. It's just to get away from, the wife and kids or the wife or girlfriend or whomever, whatever the situation is, just for a couple of hours, just to do quote unquote guy stuff. And ladies, the same goes for you. You need that time where you go, where your girlfriend comes, picks you up, or you meet your girlfriend at the mall and you go shopping for a few hours just to do quote unquote girl stuff. Now, I'm not saying that all women go shopping, but you get my point. You need that time. And you need time to just do stuff yourself, whatever that stuff is. I don't know, host your own radio show. The bottom line is, man, is that we all need space. We all need it. If you don't get space, particularly early in what it is that you call your relationship or your friend space, it's going to be problematic down the road. And I think as long as you manage the space, now that's the biggest thing too, as you get the space that you so well deserve, you have to manage it. You have to figure out when and where we need to be apart, when and where we need to do our own thing. But when I come to you and I say we need space, or you come to me and say we need space, or I need my space, there's a myriad of things that come with that. I think what's more important is to listen to the conversation after those words. And once you get the quote, it's going to be shocking because, as I mentioned at the top, you're thinking to yourself, oh, he needs space. That means he's trying to dump me. What is it that I'm doing wrong? But like I said earlier, if you have your own space, you're able to do your own thing and pursue your individual, even within the collective of a relationship. And don't get it twisted. Space is needed sometimes between friends as well. Very much so. You know, the dynamics of friends tend to change from time to time, especially when that friend gets a new boyfriend or a new girlfriend. Things can change. And as your friendship is changing and time is going by, you need to evolve as friends. And, you know, you need your space. Maybe you need your space with different sets of friends. I don't know. It just depends. But I think we all have to play a role in defining what that space is. I think when dealing with relationships and negotiating with your mate, you have to figure out how to help them meet that space. Obviously, communication is a huge part of it. Interaction. And then how you go about making those things happen. The last thing you want to do is have someone resentful of you, as far as the fact that you won't give them the space that they so desire. It's a give and take. It's definitely a give and take. So in a nutshell, y'all, I'm just here to tell you that having space between the two of you isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's all about how you look at it. You define what the space is. You define how well it's carried out. And you define how it all comes together. It's not a referendum. It's not the end, although sometimes it is. But I think you have to, just like I said earlier, you have to be honest with yourself. And if you're honest with yourself, you can find it much, much easier to be honest with the other person. So take that for what it is, man. But space isn't necessarily a bad thing. I got space right now. Oh, man. That's going to do it for this week. I'm your host, 12 Kyle. I'll holler at you guys next time. Peace.
When you manage procurement for multiple facilities, every order matters. But when it's for a hospital system, they matter even more. Grainger gets it and knows there's no time for managing multiple suppliers and no room for shipping delays. That's why Grainger offers millions of products in fast, dependable delivery, so you can keep your facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you work in university maintenance, Grainger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Grainger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more, and all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, visit Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.